Let's move forward with our 14th lecture in sequence of the expected topics, and in this section we would be discussing some of the major social issues. So the first one is the WHO tobacco cessation guidelines. Now this has been given by WHO in an anticipation that there are nearly 750 million individuals who actually want to stop the usage of tobacco but are facing the challenges, and 60% of the 1.25 billion global tobacco users want to quit. Now with this they have lack to access for the cessation techniques, and 70% of them do not actually have good health care, or we can say insufficient resources. So there is a comprehensive need to address this issue. It is a critical need. It empowers the healthcare and promotes a multifaceted approach. So this has been a very important topic. The next one is the 2024 State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World report has been released, and there were five specialized agencies of UN who compiled it. These five agencies are really important: the Food and Agricultural Organization, IFAD, UNICEF, WFP, and WHO. Now the issues are to eliminate hunger, food insecurity, and malnutrition in various forms. Now there are various programs needed for the same. First is to focus on the Sustainable Development Goal Target 2, provide the basic insight for the same, inform the policy and the interventions, create awareness, and bring in accountability. What is the major issue, we can say, is the financial crisis and the challenges, which are mainly in the form of underfunding, lack of accountability, and lack of tracking the real progress. So there have been revision in the definition of the funding, and this now includes both public and private funding, domestic and international funding, and focuses on availability, accessibility, utilization, and stability. There are various gaps in the financing systems, specifically in the low income group, low and middle income group, for investments and food security. The next one is Operation Nanne Farishte. Now for the last 7 years, Railway has rescued nearly 84,000 children as part of Operation Nanne Farishte. Now this aims to safeguard the children who are across different railway zones, to protect these vulnerable children, to reunite them with their families, to collaborate and rehabilitate, create awareness, and bring a national impact. The next one is NIRF ranking. Now NIRF and NAC are two important rankings for educational standards. Now the difference between the two we have covered in a separate lecture, so if you want to go into that detail you can refer that. Coming back to the NIRF ranking 2024, the idea is there are 5 parameters. It was started back in 2015. The idea is teaching, learning and resources, research and professional practice, graduation outcome, outreach, and perception. Now this has been implemented by the National Board of Accreditation along with Inflibnet, which has its center in Gandhinagar and ranks various universities, colleges, research institutes, engineering, agriculture, and planning institutes. The next is adolescents in India. Now adolescents, their well-being have been targeted under one of the report, which is economic case for investments in the well-being of adolescent Indians. Now this focuses on the well-being. So the some of the characteristics of an adolescent have been mentioned, and now we focus on that India has the world's largest adolescent population with nearly 253 million population in the age group of 10 to 19 years, and the rate of mortality has dropped over by 50%. The fertility rate has been seeing a decline of 83%. Now most of the youth are completing secondary school, more than doubled from 22% to 50%. There has been 22% increase in the fatal road accidents among adolescents, and there are various challenges which include malnutrition, mental health conditions, anxiety, then unemployment as one of the major challenges. However, the child marriage has declined. There have been numerous cases of child brides. Early marriage is linked to mental health issues. Then there is abuse within marriage and violence and injuries as some other common reasons. The next is Model Foster Care Guidelines 2024. Now this has succeeded the guidelines which were given in 2016, and this have been updated under the Juvenile Act, and this talks about the Mission Vatsalya scheme. So what are the eligibilities for the foster parents? The placement programs for the children, the welfare programs, the foster care regulations, the exit and the reintegration strategies, and the rights and responsibilities. So children age 6 and above who live in a child care institution and have difficult needs or have special needs are eligible to be adopted as a foster child. So individual, whether they are married or non-married, can become a foster parent, and single women is permitted to become a foster parent and adopt children of any gender. However, single men can adopt a child only for a male children. Now couples must be in a stable marriage for at least 2 years to adopt or to become a foster parent, and these are some of the requirements. This was previously 5 years, now it has been 2 years for foster parent. Now this adoption framework for the child works under the Central Adoption Resource Authority, which is the central agency under India. It was established under the Juvenile Justice Act 2015 under the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and handles mainly the adoption for orphan, abandoned and surrendered children. The next is under the new education policy. We are talking about the bagless days, and these bagless days mainly focuses on the student from class 6 to 8. The idea has been developed by PSS, Central Institute for Vocational Center at NCERT, to focus on holistic development of children, experiential learning through experience, through practical learning, reduce the academic pressure, boost teamwork and promote appreciation. So the guidelines for the same have been given. The next is the habitat rights for Junga tribe. Now, Junga is one of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, and this lies in the Keonjhar districts in Odisha. Now, in the regions of Jajpura, the Junga tribes are there. Then you have Paudi Bhayung tribe in Devgarh in Odisha, Bharia, which is another particularly vulnerable tribal group in Madhya Pradesh, Kamar and Bega in Chhattisgarh. So these are some of the major tribal groups, and protecting their rights are important. So what are habitat rights? These have been introduced under the Scheduled Tribes Act 2006, known as the Forest Right Act, and the habitat is the area which they are customary to, focuses on primitive tribal practices, pre-agricultural communities, and have series of members who work together to actually move forward. Now, particularly vulnerable tribal groups are nearly 75 across 18 different states, and Odisha has the highest with 13 groups. Now, Junga tribe in Odisha is one of the major tribes which is native to Keonjhar, Palagarh in Angul and the Denkal areas. They are classified into two, the plain tribes and the hilly tribes. The hilly tribes are known as Thania, the plain tribes are known as Bhagudia Jonga, and they are originally called as Pataus due to the traditional leaf skirt attire that they actually go for. The next is subtle gender discrimination in the society, and that has been highlighted by the Vice President of India, talking about reinforcing the reasons behind the inequality and focusing on a culture of inclusivity, focusing on unbiased workplace assessment and changing the male mindset. So there has been a nuanced gender discrimination which is visible through the family related obligations, talking about the work culture and biased mental state. The next is the National Pension Scheme Vatsalya. Now this has been introduced as a scheme for minors to encourage long-term financial planning and to have a saving habit for children under the age of 18 years. So parents can open the account for the retirement of children under the age of 18 years under the NPS Vatsalya scheme, and this would provide the financial support. There would be a contribution by the government for fixed amount, and it would be withdrawable only at maturity. The next is New India Literacy Program given by Ministry of Education, and it has defined literacy and full literacy to support the adult education under the new education policy and sustainable development goal 4.6. Yeah, literacy we already know is the ability to read, write, and compute. However, full literacy is achieving 95% literacy in union and state territories, which is considered equivalent to nearly 100% literacy that could be achieved. So this program focuses on Ullas, that is understanding for lifelong learning for all in the society, and is one of the centrally sponsored schemes talking about to educate non-literates under the age of 15 years, specifically females, backward states, and target nearly 5 crore learners with 1 crore learners every year, and focuses on the concept of OLTAS, which is online teaching learning assessment, in collaboration with National Informatics Center, NCERT, and NIOS. So there are 5 components for it: the foundational, literacy and numeracy, critical life skills, basic education which covers the preparatory, middle and secondary stages, vocational skills, and continuing education which focuses on the holistic education. The next is the UN report, women report, and the role of women in development. Now this focuses on some of the key pillars which basically target the specific risk groups, the vulnerable and constrained population, the limited resource access, and the disproportionately responsible unpaid or domestic work, we could say, have been under focus. So some of the major ideas is that 63% of the women worldwide are at the verge of still giving birth without maternity benefits, and therefore there is a constant conflict with work culture. So there have been some recommendations for an equitable society to bring in more coordination and collaboration for social protection and prioritizing the dignity and the empowering the women, right? So one is the Manrega scheme, which is for the at least 100 days of guaranteed employment, Matru Bandhan Yojana, Ujjwala scheme, and then we have another important portal which is known as e-migration portal, launched by Ministry of External Affairs and Labour Welfare. Now this focuses on an online platform for migration of Indian workers seeking employment abroad, and this would provide a legal migration feature, 24/7 multilingual helpline. All the documents would be paperless through the Digi Locker system, and this would bring in ease, transparency, legal migration, provide recruitment, registration, and online services. The next is Yashasvi scheme. Now this is Young Achievers Scholarship Award for Vibrant India to support the students from other backward class, economically backward class and denotified class to provide them quality education, and this focuses on various initiatives which have been started across the various duration have been integrated into the population, right? So promoting good education, talent identification, skill development have been some of the major ideas. The next is bringing in fortified rice. Now fortified rice has been part of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Anna Kalyan Ann Yojana, and this talks about fortified rice which have iron, folic acid, B12 in contrast to the normal rice which does not have these essential micronutrients. So fortification actually adds or enhances the nutritional value, and this supplement could be beneficial to children even in the schools where this staple diet is being provided, and rice is one of the staple foods for nearly 65% of the population. So bringing that under the cover of fortification is a very big target. So this has been achieved through targeted public distribution services, integrated child development programs, Poshan schemes, and central sector initiative with 100% funding provided by the center as part of the food subsidy under the Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. So those are some of the benefits that we have discussed here. Thanks for joining in, and we'll be bringing up the next 6 lectures for expected topics on various fields related to culture, ethics, major personalities and trending topics. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining in. Have a wonderful day.